Ever wondered why it seems like everything works for everyone except for you? Perhaps that's precisely why it doesn't. Because you don't have to conform to my views. I will explain for you. Just take a moment and relax. This is a sentiment, a quiet whisper, that has perhaps found a home in the back of your mind. It's a feeling of being stuck, of being left behind while everyone else seems to be moving forward. It's a feeling that's all too familiar, isn't it? We tend to compare our progress, our growth, to that of others. And more often than not, we find ourselves on the losing end, don't we? This comparison, this constant measuring up, only breeds feelings of inadequacy and frustration. It's like running a race that we never signed up for, and it's exhausting. But what if we're looking at it the wrong way? What if the key to growth is not in the race, not in the competition, but somewhere else entirely? Perhaps the answer to this dilemma lies not in others, but in nature itself. Consider a flower, living in a vast field of varied flora, a tiny seed that starts its journey beneath the earth's blanket. In the beginning, it's invisible, insignificant, seemingly without purpose. But within that seed lies a potential that is immense and profound. This seed, with time, warmth and nourishment, embarks on a journey of transformation. It sprouts roots that delve deep into the soil, seeking sustenance, forming a firm foundation for the growth that is to come. Above the surface, a tiny green shoot dares to emerge, to reach for the sky, to embrace the sun's light. As days turn into weeks, this shoot grows taller, stronger and more resilient. It braves the wind and rain, the scorching sun and the freezing cold. But it does not rush its growth out of fear or impatience. It does not slow down because it feels inadequate or unworthy. It simply grows at its own pace, in its own time. And then, when the time is right, a bud appears. A promise of beauty and splendor. This bud doesn't compare itself to the flowers around it. It doesn't worry if it's smaller or less vibrant than the others. It doesn't feel threatened by the roses or intimidated by the lilies. It doesn't envy the sunflowers that stand tall or the daisies that spread wide. This bud simply focuses on its own journey of becoming. It opens up, petal by petal, revealing its unique charm and character. It blooms with grace, with courage, with authenticity. It blooms not to compete, but to contribute, to add its color, its fragrance, its energy to the world. Each flower in the field is on its own journey, each with its own pace, its own timing, its own purpose. They don't compete or compare. They don't judge or envy. They simply bloom, each in their own magnificent way. In its silent growth, the flower teaches us a priceless lesson. And what is this lesson? It's quite simple, really. In the garden of life, each flower grows at its own pace, nurtured by the same sun, the same rain, and the same soil. Yet each flower blooms in its own time, in its own way, and in its own unique splendor. There is no rush, no competition, no comparison. The rose does not look at the lily and feel less vibrant, nor does the sunflower gaze at the tulip and wish to be more delicate. Each flower just is in all its natural, effortless beauty. This is the lesson of the flower. Its growth is not dependent on the growth or blooming of others around it. It does not compare or compete, but simply focuses on its own blooming. It's not concerned with the question of who is the most beautiful or who bloomed first. It simply exists, blooms, and brings joy to those who behold it. And so it is with us. Just as each flower in the garden has its own unique beauty and purpose, so do we. We each have our own journey, our own path, our own timeline. We grow, we evolve, we bloom in our own time and in our own unique way, and this is perfectly okay. Our personal growth should not be a race against others, but a journey within ourselves. It's about becoming the best version of ourselves, not better than someone else. It's about recognizing our own beauty, our own worth, our own potential, and nurturing these qualities to bloom in our own time. We tend to measure our progress, our success, our worth against others, but this is not how nature intended it to be. Like the flowers, we are not meant to compete, but to coexist, to add our unique beauty and fragrance to the garden of life. So the next time you find yourself in the throes of comparison, remember the lesson of the flower. Focus on your own growth, your own journey. Nurture your own roots. Reach for your own sun and bloom in your own time. Like the flower, we too can bloom in our own time. So, how do we apply this lesson to our lives? It's simpler than you might think. Let's begin with setting personal goals, goals that resonate with your core values and ambitions rather than mirroring someone else's achievements. Next, remember to celebrate your small victories. Each step towards your goal, no matter how minor it may seem, is a testament to your progress. It's your bloom, your moment in the sun. Relish it, for it is the fruit of your efforts. And finally, practice mindfulness. Be present in your journey, aware of your growth, and appreciative of your evolution. Don't let the allure of others' success distract you from your own path. Focus on your blooming, your becoming, your growth. And in this process, you'll realize that the only comparison that truly matters is the one you make with yourself, your past, and your potential. Remember, your growth is not a race against others, but a journey with yourself. Let's recap what we've learned today. We began our journey with the humble story of a flower, a silent yet eloquent teacher of a profound life lesson. This flower, in its simplicity, accomplishes what many of us struggle to do. It blooms without consideration or fear of the flower next to it. It doesn't compare its petals or its colors. It doesn't fret over the pace or size of its growth. It simply focuses on its own journey, its own evolution. In the same vein, we've learned that our personal growth should never be a race or a competition against others. Rather, it should be a journey of self-discovery and self-improvement, free from the shackles of comparison. The dangers of comparison are real, and they can stifle our potential, our joy, our very essence. Next time you find yourself comparing your growth to others, remember the flower. It blooms not for the sake of competition, but for its own beauty and growth. And so should you.